Throughout the history of competitive Fortnite, there have been a lot of toxic players. But there is one player who stands out amongst them all, and that is Young Calc.
You suck, dog shit, controller player, suck a fat cock, you fucking loser motherfucker, get the out of my lobby, nephew, dumb ass motherfucker. Go back to console, you cause this region sucks! That's why, Bala! Bro, like, what am I playing? Holy bro.
Young Calc was one of the best players in the game before becoming so hated that he was forced to quit and disappear from the internet. So what happened to the most toxic Fortnite player of all time? Well, Young Calculator was born on February 25th, 2005 in Ohio. He grew up with one older brother who also ended up being a professional Fortnite player. Throughout his childhood, he played a few sports, mainly football, but he didn't really enjoy them and preferred playing video games instead. He mostly played Call of Duty and other first-person shooters on console, and since his mom realized how much he enjoyed gaming, she bought him a laptop. This is when he started playing Minecraft and other PC games where he would start to make a lot of online friends. Although Fortnite Battle Royale was released in September of 2017, Calc would not start playing it right away. But by the time Chapter 1 Season 2 came out, all of his friends started playing it and so did his brother. After a little bit of convincing from everybody around him, he finally decided to download Fortnite, and nobody could have predicted how much this would change his life. For the first few months playing the game, he spent his time learning the basics, and once he began to get really good, he started playing against better competition. In early 2018, there weren't any competitive tournaments, custom games to play scrims, or really any professional scene at all. The best way to consistently get into games against good competition was a Discord called Comp Solo Snipes. Basically, there was a countdown in the Discord server and everybody would ready up at the same time trying to get into the same game. Due to the popularity of Fortnite at the time, you would be lucky to have more than 20 people from the Discord get into the same game, but playing in these lobbies is where he began to realize just how talented he was. Even though these lobbies were stacked with some of the best players in the game at the time, like Booga, Clix, and Zate, Calc was running through them like it was nothing. As the competitive scene started to develop, he began playing scrims and grinding to improve every single day. The original squad he teamed up with included his brother Has the Great and future 6-time FNCS winner Arkram. They were really good, but let's just say the two brothers argued sometimes.
So,
It doesn't matter. We gotta change our scripts.
Jonathan, why don't you stop being so fucking egotistical and look at the issue you did wrong? If you don't, Jonathan, listen, I don't understand.
Alright.
I can find a replacement for you. I'm letting you know that, okay? You're completely fucked
Here's
up.
the-
That's your fault.
We need to change.
That is your fault! And listen, Arkham and Rasta know it's your fault too.
There's 15 fucking teams have been led retail, you fucking
No, there wasn't.
idiot!
Viper landed there, and that was the only time that landed.
No! There is! 15 teams in Masters!
Reckless.
They go fucking retail, you dumbass!
Why am I in retail?
We can't keep fucking landing there if we can't take early game fights!
The unfortunate thing is that once Fortnite started hosting major tournaments like the Summer and Fall Skirmish, he couldn't compete if he wanted to because he was only 13 and you had to be 16 years old to compete. This continued to be a massive issue for him when the Winter Royale qualifiers happened in December of 2018. Winter Royale was the first open tournament ever, meaning anybody could compete. To qualify, you had to place in the top 200 and he finished in 161st. But when it came time for the actual tournament, he was disqualified for being too young. This was heartbreaking, but it made him realize that he really was one of the best players in the game. Thankfully, his age was not going to hold him back much longer because on February 22nd, 2019, Epic announced that the age requirement to compete would be lowered to 13 years old. This was in perfect time for the biggest competition in esports history, the Fortnite World Cup. The World Cup consisted of 10 weeks of qualifiers, 5 weeks of solos, and 5 weeks of duos. In the first 8 weeks of qualifiers, Calc would come extremely close to qualifying in both game modes, missing out on duos and solos by only 3 points. Things weren't looking good because he failed to qualify for the Solo World Cup and he was not confident that he could qualify for duos with his current teammate. Because of this, he really wanted to find someone else, but there was one issue. Nobody good was looking for a duo. With only 2 days remaining before the last duo qualifier, he decided to team up with Macwood, and the rest is history.
Smash is very HP. Nice.
Told you!
Nice. Yes, dude. Let's go, dude.
And Vinny, and then the Young Calculator and Cole Macwood.
Finishing in 4th place was good enough to make it to the Fortnite World Cup and make $50,000 each, which is a ton of money for a 14-year-old. The thing is, Calc was always somebody who had no filter and just said what was on his mind. And this was pretty apparent after Game 3 of the World Cup Finals. After him and Macwood won this game, he had an interview where he was asked about their game plan when he said this.
Right, walk me through your strategy for the end of the next 3 games.
Shoot them in the head.
Shoot them in the head. You heard it here first. Back to you, GB and Monster.
While his tendency to say what's on his mind was funny, it would ultimately be the thing that caused his demise in the long run. Him and Macwood finished a respectable 16th place, taking home $100,000, but this duo was just beginning their generational run. The following season was the first ever trio FNCS. Calc and Macwood decided to pick up another player who dominated the World Cup, Zexro. When you add one of the most clutch players in the game to an already insane duo, stuff like this happens.
Will he be able to get back something? Pop a bandage! Pop a bandage! Zexro, pop a bandage! Son, please! Wait, don't forget he has the double eliminations for the Siphon. It's gonna come through. Agro goes down. Uzi goes down 1 HP! Son down! What? 1 HP, Zexro, you god!
That clutch helped the trio qualify for grand finals, where they would be uncontested at one of the best drop spots in the game, Frosty Flights. And we were about to witness one of the closest tournaments ever.
Yawn. Dead, I got him. Let's go, let's go.
Let's see what ended up going down. The clutch run at the end to get second place was just short. Zexro, Macwood, Calculator, congratulations, taking home the top spot, edging out the rest of the lobby.
At this time, Calc was just another kid who loved Fortnite and was really good at it. Although he was a bit controversial at times, he wasn't necessarily considered to be toxic, just a little cocky. But he did have a good reason to be confident since his placements spoke for themselves. The following season, the trio would pick up Zexro's duo Vinny for Squad FNCS. They played well in the weekly qualifiers before making it to the grand finals, where they were one of the favorites to win. Although they had a great showing, Unknown and his squad would ultimately win, and Calc's team would finish in second. We'll be talking about Unknown more later on because he plays a big part in the reason Calc ended up quitting. 99.9% of my viewers are not subscribed, so if you hear this, please click the sub button. At 14 years old, young Calc made $200,000 in 6 months from playing a video game. Obviously, at that age, you aren't necessarily the most humble person, and the fact he was so successful amplified his cockiness. Sadly, this is how he really started to earn his toxic reputation. Chapter 2 Season 2 was the first ever duo FNCS competition. With Calc having back-to-back insane seasons, he could have played with anybody he wanted to. In the end, he decided to play with the face of competitive Fortnite, Clix. With 2 of the best players in the game teaming up, everyone expected them to dominate and potentially win FNCS. But before even playing their first tournament together, Calc would get himself into his first bit of controversy.
Calc, a member, an actual Fortnite member for Vanguard Wins, I'll show them what a true toxic clip actually is. Apparently it's young Calc on stream being killed. He calls the player out who killed him for being a controller player. Turns out he was a mouse and keyboard player. He took to Twitter to actually call Calc out, and here's was his response, at least on stream.
He was on controller, you f***ing reet. You f***ing reet, dude. He was literally, like, bro, he literally was running at me while shooting way too fast to be on keyboard mouse. You f***ing reet. Like, you're literally just dumb. Like, people like you, I don't understand how people like you exist. Like, how were you raised by your parents?
The thing is, the Fortnite community is very young and majority of the pros were toxic. The big difference is that Calc would say things publicly on stream and on Twitter, which brought more attention to him. After this situation unfolded, people questioned whether or not it was a smart move for Clix to play with him, but in the end he decided it was. They did okay in the FNCS qualifiers, only making finals in 2 out of the 4 weeks, but never really having a presence at the top of the leaderboard. You see, any pro who has played with Clix before knows his community can be a little toxic if he isn't performing well. This meant that anytime Calc would die or maybe make a bad play, he would have to deal with thousands of people calling him out, even if it wasn't his fault. The best thing to do in this situation is just ignore it, but he hated having to deal with it, and after a disappointing 19th in FNCS, they split up as a duo. While he was able to get away from that situation, he could not stay out of controversy. After the first day of solo invitational finals, Unknown said he was going to grief Clix for the entire second day of the tournament. Calc did not think it was right for him to do this, so he went ahead and let him know.
I'm landing on him tomorrow too.
You're such a dude. That's actually so stupid. I don't know, like, you're literally, whatever, dude. You literally have, like,
you're a racist! You're
shut the
really
fuck
racist!
up. That's, you literally make up some dumb shit just because you do some childish shit in a tournament by griefing somebody.
You're a racist!
You have 30,000 people watching you right now and you grief somebody else fun. Go yourself.
I don't care.
Calling someone racist is a bold accusation, especially publicly in front of thousands of viewers. And since Calc was already hated so much by the community, they jumped on the bandwagon and didn't even give him a chance to defend himself. And it turns out Unknown was not being serious at all. Apparently, they were both in the same friend group at the time, and it was just an ongoing joke to call each other racist. But without that context, Calc was getting a ton of hate. Eventually, this situation was cleared up, but the damage had already been done. After dealing with a ton of controversy for almost 2 years, something clicked and Calc decided it was time for a change.
My opinions on stuff, like, I've become more,
understanding and sensible, so I'm not actually that big of an asshole anymore.
Right.
Suddenly, he became much more mature, decided to stay out of drama, and overall just focus more on himself. This turned out to be a great change because as soon as this happened, he had one of his best seasons yet. In Chapter 2 Season 4, he ran back trio FNCS with Macwood and Zextra, where they finished a solid 7th place in Grand Finals. Right after this, he placed 4th in a DreamHack Duo tournament with Furious, making $2,300. 1 month later, he played the next DreamHack with one of the future GOATs of Fortnite, Mero. When you put two players who are in their prime together, obviously they're gonna pop off.
Crank all the way up, crank so high up.
I don't have like that.
I have like 800. Here, go for it. Me too. Come on. Find us.
Dead!
Just one.
I need maps!
In here.
Dead!
Get that. Here.
183, dead!
Come here.
Dead! Let's start getting go!
With another tournament win under his belt, his placements throughout this season were very impressive as he rarely finished outside of the top 10 in anything. It was looking like the start of something great. He was making a change for the better to be less toxic while performing well at the same time. But sadly, we all know that is not how this story goes. In Chapter 2 Season 5, he only made $750 and missed out on his first ever FNCS Grand Finals. But he was still really close. They needed a top 8 in their heat, but finished in 9th place, which is very unfortunate. And the following season, things continued to get worse. Once again, he failed to qualify through his heat, finishing in 10th when they needed a top 8, but there was still a chance. Chapter 2 Season 6 had 3 reboot round games, meaning all they had to do was win one of them to make it to the Grand Finals. In Game 1, they were on high ground as the only full trio alive, and with a free win right in front of them, there was no way Calc would be spectating another FNCS. Right?
Oh, he's right. Team on low ground. Nice. Slurpers and floppers behind you. 40 seconds until zone.
What? 3 slurfish. Pop. Nice. 300 mats. 200 mats. Your full trio. You got green one. Nice.
You have slurfish.
7 bills. Pop slurp.
7 bills. Top 2. 1v2. 1v2. You have 1 slurfish.
Pop a slurfish. 13 bills.
Coming up. Nice. He has to go through a building.
1 builds. 4 builds.
He has to go through a building.
Nice. Got your finish. No more builds.
He's coming up.
Somehow, Sprite pulled off the greatest clutch in the history of Fortnite. With the vibes completely shot, Joji, Calc, and Osp would not win a game and their season was over. And this series of unfortunate events was just getting started. Next season, he did not make a single dollar in any tournament and didn't come close to making the FNCS finals. It was obvious he was losing his passion for the game, but he was still ready to try one more time. In Chapter 2 Season 8, him and his trio once again failed to make it through their heat, but they had 6 chances to win a reboot round game. In the 4th game, they played absolutely flawless until the zone closed and nobody had more heals than his teammate Looter. All he had to do was pop his white heals and win the game. Easy, right?
You keep saying watch Looter, don't tell me he fucks this. Looter, please, no. He didn't get it. You didn't get it. I can tell.
At this point, Calc just had to be cursed. These were 2 of the biggest chokes in Fortnite history, and he happened to be a part of both of them. Shortly after this, he would officially announce that he was quitting Fortnite. This truly marked the end of his career, and you honestly can't blame him. Although the end of his career was quite depressing, we can't forget about everything he accomplished. In under 3 years, he made $250,000 competing, winning multiple major tournaments, including FNCS and qualifying for the World Cup. He might be known as the most toxic Fortnite pro ever, but did he really deserve this label? Well, I think one big thing we have to remember is that he was only 13 to 15 years old during this time. You were probably pretty immature when you were that age too. Fortnite, especially the pro community, is very young, so obviously people are going to be more toxic. Everybody said similar things. Calc just did everything publicly, which is why he had a big spotlight on him. And once people started hating on him, it almost became a trend to do it. As he grew older, he matured more and more, and seeing that growth is great, but unfortunately the Fortnite community did not not see this version of him since he quit playing, so that will probably be his reputation forever. After quitting Fortnite, he disappeared from the internet for a couple months because he really needed a break. Once he came back, he mainly played Valorant and would stream it fairly consistently. Although it was the only game he played, he didn't really have any real aspirations of trying to go pro. And during this time, he graduated high school and started going to college. More recently, he's been streaming and playing Valve's new game called Deadlock. Deadlock is a third-person shooter game that seems like a combination of Overwatch, Call of Duty, and Valorant, which he really seems to be enjoying.
Yeah, I think I'll definitely try to go pro in another game. Valve's new game Deadlock. It's like third person, just like Fortnite. I love this game so much so far, and I'm like 400 hours in. I'll probably try to go pro in this game. I've been streaming it a decent amount.
If you enjoy content like this, I have a lot more on my channel, so go check out the video on screen right now. And please click subscribe so I can get a YouTube plaque.